to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm here with Campbell Hatton. Campbell, another valuable 6 rounds under your belt there. How did you find it?
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I think there's things I could have done a little bit better or a little bit different, but on the whole, I think I did everything I wanted to. I wanted to show that I can be more thoughtful, and I think I did. I think I've shown a bit more like gears than I have done normally. I'd just be 100 mile an hour from the off, and I think I brought the pace up and down throughout it. I think I used my jab a lot more than I have done, and picked my shots a lot better, and I think my gas is better than ever. I went into the last round and realised I still had loads of energy, and the 6 was probably my best round. So yeah, I think I've ticked a few boxes that I wanted to, and just look to get back active throughout the year now, because there was a little bit of a gap, and I've shaken any little bit of rust I might have had.
To be fair, your opponent, he came to fight. Like he was landing some shots as well. He was trying to counter you. He was swinging big shots himself. So these are the type of performances, opponents that you need going forward, isn't it? Yeah,
he came to win it. Like he came in, he weren't a journeyman. He came in with a winning record, and he never really gave up at any point. I think there was little periods where I was well on top, and he started to fade a little bit, and I was guilty of switching off at times where it allowed him to get a shot in, and then he sort of rejuvenated himself a little bit and had a few little flurries, but I thought I was well in control. But he was tough, he was game, and he was fairly strong, and could whack a little bit.
You mentioned the sixth round there, and what I noticed in the 6th round was throughout the first 5 rounds you started to wear him down the body shots. You're landing big right hands every now and again. The 6th round you can see him gasping for air every time you land on a body shot. 6 rounds, Eddie said there, the post-fight interview, maybe going on to the longer rounds now. Do you feel like with your sort of style and the way you break your opponents down, that when you get into these 8, 10, maybe even 12 rounders, that's when you're going to start breaking your opponents down a lot more, and that's when we can start seeing these stoppages?
Yeah, definitely. I've shown a big improvement when I went from 4s to 6s. Like, I think having that extra bit of time, it stopped me being so 100 mile an hour and over-eager, because I knew there was no real rush, whereas I think it'll be the same again when I go up to 8s. I think I've shown there that I do the 6 really comfortable, because I got stronger and stronger as it went on, and really emptied the tank in the 6, where I set a really good pace and shown no signs of really fading. So I think I'm more than ready for 8s, and that's when we'll see the best of me. And I think as the opponents improve, it'll bring the best out of me as well. Like we saw him, he was aggressive and came to win, and I think that played into my hands a little bit.
That's what people are going to ask, is like the opponents, and when they're going to start getting to the names where we know who you're fighting, we know the name of the opponent, so to speak, and maybe so these minor titles, these area titles, English titles. A lot of people are going to ask these questions about you, but you're still learning your craft. You never had that extensive amateur career, even though you did have a good amateur career, and you're still only 22 years old. A lot of people forget that you're still young in terms, you've not got your man strength yet. So for you, when do you believe that you'll be ready for these sort of, like, I know Aqib Fiaz was thrown at you this week, so when do you think you're ready for these names?
I think this year I'm ready for a type of name that we do know, and a proper fight where I'm not necessarily expected to just come away with a win, where I think it sounds silly, but I think it'll help me perform. I think the success that the opponent tonight had was all down to me switching off without being disrespectful. I think if I know I'm in there with someone who's a really live opponent, where I know I could come unstuck, I think that'll stop me from switching off, because it is something I'm guilty of. And I think in patches of every fight I've shown some really nice work, but it's just not always consistent throughout. And I think tonight it was a little bit more consistent, with the odd little lapse of concentration.
The Hatton name, obviously, that brings pressure within itself, but I know you said early on in your career you maybe felt that pressure with the Hatton name and following your dad's footsteps and your Uncle Matthew, but do you still feel that pressure now?
Little bit. It's like, I don't think it'll ever totally go away, but I'm just learning how to deal with it better, and I'm at the point now where I know how to deal with it, so it's not affecting my performances. Anytime I do anything wrong in the ring. It isn't down to that anymore. Its main thing is just lack of concentration at times, and that's something I'm starting to eradicate.
Campbell, let's jump in a time machine. Let's go from a year from now. Where would you like to see yourself?
Yeah, I'd like a belt round my waist by this time next year. Possibly like back end of this year. I'll get them 8 under my belt, and then we'll have a good idea, because I really do think that's when we'll see the best of me. And I think back end of 2023, or at least early 2024, that's where I want to be.
Man, I won't keep you much longer. You probably want to go and get showered and all that and enjoy the rest of the night. So Campbell, thanks for doing this Fight TV, and I'll see you soon, mate. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something. Completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.